Oh boy, here we go again. Back to work, but the charts are setting up beautifully for us tonight. We've been waiting for this breakout pullback, it seems like the entire month of January. If we can time this entry correctly tomorrow, it could be easily one of our biggest winners of the week. I have 3 trades I'm tracking, 3 specific entries I'm tracking for tomorrow. By the end of this video, you'll have a great, easy roadmap to make some money on this breakout pullback, no matter what the markets throw at us on Thursday morning. Now, I have a lot to cover in one of the most important videos of the entire week this week. Before we jump in, though, make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video. Hit that subscribe button. If you guys like these lessons, if you enjoy these videos, do me a favor, will you hit that like button for me? Give me a shout out down in the comments section. Thank you so much for sticking around tonight, tuning in, supporting the channel. But man, oh man, I'm getting excited for what might be a great Thursday in our trade room. Now, looking at charts here tonight, I get the Nasdaq and the triple Qs all ready to go. Oh, the S&P and the SPY are ready to go. We've been seeing these markets melting higher pretty much all week. It seems like it's been nothing but melt up the entire month of January. And now we're finally starting to get some of those pullbacks into those key zones we've been talking about the last few evenings. It looks like now might be a perfect time to buy on this breakout pullback. The challenge, though, here's the big challenge. Here's the curveball for tomorrow. That correction today was very, very strong. Timing the entry on this tomorrow might not be very easy, but don't you worry. I have 3 trades I'm watching that will help us absorb that momentum, play off that momentum, and help us time the perfect breakout pullback entries tomorrow morning in our trade room. Now, before we jump in and talk about those 3 specific entries, let's quickly check our schedule for tomorrow because we have a pretty busy day tomorrow. We just heard about Tesla. They missed their expectations, so we know we're going to get some reaction to that overnight. And that's one big variable I'll be watching overnight. Tomorrow morning, around 7:30 Eastern time, we're going to hear from the ECB, all right? So ECB announcement tomorrow morning. You know, they might be the first ones to start cutting rates tomorrow. Will the ECB shock the markets? You know, they're pretty much flatlining right now in Europe. So will they be the first central bank to start cutting rates to stimulate their economy? We're going to find out tomorrow morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And obviously the third thing here, big block of news tomorrow. Durable goods, GDP, trade, jobless claims. Keep your eye on those durable goods and GDP number tomorrow morning. Those are like the big catalysts tomorrow morning. And then later on in the session, we got new home sales at 10 o'clock Eastern time. If you're with us in our morning trade room, you know I always get excited whenever I see news at 10 o'clock Eastern time. We find some great trades between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock Eastern time in our morning trade room. So again, Tesla reaction overnight, big wild card. ECB tomorrow morning, will they light the markets on fire with some rate cuts? ETH 830 GDP and durable goods and those home sales number at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Now you know what's on my radar for tomorrow. Let's now dive in and talk about my favorite setups. Those 3 trades I mentioned earlier. Start off tonight here on the Emini SPY, and of course we'll finish up tonight on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. As I mentioned earlier, we have a melt up market. Almost felt like for a while there, it was never going to stop. And of course, we've been watching these breakout pullback zones and breakout pullback zones all week this week. It looks like this might be a great time to buy, but again, it's a very strong shot going lower. I think the biggest clues tonight are down on the lower time from the tick charts. Let's now go down to our tick charts because this really does a good job at illustrating just how sharp that correction is. There are 3 very important clues on this chart right now. They're tipping me off to where I think the best trades, the best money-making opportunities are going to be for tomorrow. The first one is the bull bias with a sharp correction. This is a pretty good clue and one of the most important clues on the chart. We have a very strong bull run up, and anytime we see a strong move like this, we saw the 60-minute chart a moment ago, we always expect a deep pullback and a retest of the high. So we know where the buyers want to go. The buyers want to go back out and take out that high. The problem is that sharp correction. Anytime we see a strong move down like that, we expect a pullback and attempt. The bears are going to try to retest that low. This is the most important factor to make money tomorrow, at least in my opinion. And this is the most important factor. We know we're overall bullish. We know we have a nice deep pullback, and we know where the buyers want to go. But the strength of that correction right now will always tell me to expect this thing to pull back, hold levels of resistance, and at least try to go back out and take out that low. This could end up being a nice big double bottom reversal, which we'll talk about here in a moment. That's one very important clue. Bull bias with a big, sharp correction. The second clue is an easy one. If you've watched my videos lately, get a big range. We saw it being the week this week, and you know me, I love it when we get a big breakout, big pullback right into that area. This seems like a gimme. This seems like an easy place to be a buyer right now. Beautiful spot for a nice deep pullback off a breakout pullback. But hold on. Let's not forget, there's still a weekend gap back here. What's a weekend gap? Last Friday, the closing price from last Friday and the opening price on Sunday night, it's a gap right there. It still hasn't been filled. Now, usually gaps get filled after Wednesday. So Thursday and Friday, that's all the way down in that area. Put all these clues together. Nice big bull market, sharp correction. We expect the bears to be trying to pull back and retest. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we kept on going lower, filled that gap, and then made that run back up here. So this is why timing the entry here could be a pretty challenging environment for tomorrow. But not to worry, we're pretty good at this in our trade room. Knowing that, let's talk about those key setups to time the perfect entry for tomorrow. This is where bear traps are going to come in handy. As we pull back, we have what we call the 2-try rule. We talk about this in our video classes. Basically, the bears are going to try twice to take that market lower. And as they do, I'm going to try to buy as low as I possibly can with what we call a bear trap. Now watch closely how I draw this. It's a higher high in price. I'll move right back below that prior swing. And what I want is a nice strong green signal candle. You guys are learning this in our free video classes, right? A strong green signal candle to trap in those bears. And then think about it. Their stops be right up around those highs, right? Let's squeeze their stops and punch back up to retest that high. This is what I call a bear trap entry in our free video classes. Now, it's very important. Pay attention. It's very important we buy as low as we can because oftentimes these will try to go higher. But again, we anticipate as it goes higher, those bears are going to try to short that thing and back and retest the high. So promise me one thing tomorrow, we're not going to chase this as it goes higher until it retests. So bear trap on that low. Now, my favorite entry on this, which would make our job a hell of a lot easier, would be if we do get that pullback up, they hold levels of resistance, they run back to retest the high. Now we're talking. Now the sellers got what they want. The buyers and sellers can both get what they want out of the markets. One of the beautiful things about the markets, once they retest that low now, okay, now we can be a lot more aggressive now with that double bottom retest. Now the sellers who got in short up here, they'll be taking their profit down here. The sellers become buyers at that low now. Now let's see if we can trap in some rookies. And watch very closely here because it's very, very important. Who's trading down here? Not professional sellers. Buyers are going to buy down here, and if I can get some bears coming in, the rookie bears, to try twice, use that 2-try rule. 1 try, 2 try. We've already retested the low now. Now let's go out and run those stops and squeeze, right? If you were caught short and you get stopped out, you got one way to get out. Buy your way out, and we're going to squeeze those stops. This is what I call a 2-try failure pattern in our free video classes, right? Doesn't need to be a bear trap. It would be great if it was a bear trap. I would not complain about that, but it needs to be at least 2 tries. That way we know we've got some juice on this thing to run this sucker back up to retest the high. Now, very, very important. If the market begins to squeeze and run higher, I have to be prepared for more bears waiting at these levels of resistance. There's one entry pattern that seeks to trap in those bears, and you know it already. It's called a bear trap entry. I'm looking for those bear traps as we go back up, right? Bear traps before it retests. Bear traps before it retests, right? So again, if we get that strong run down, if they hold that level, and it could be any of these levels really, and they retest that low, trap those bears in once, bears try twice, and again, as it begins to squeeze and run higher, don't chase it. Buy as low as you can, get that higher high in price, and that bear trap right below that low. Man, oh man, that double bottom reversal could be one of the biggest winners of the week. Usually those are pretty lucrative in our morning trade room. Now, let's slow it down for a second. We have covered a lot in a very short period of time. I know most of you guys, you've learned these setups, you're trading these, making money with these, but if you're here for the first time right now, this might be brand new information. This might be way over your head. What the heck are bear traps and failures and rotations? Don't you worry. I teach all of these entry patterns. I have hundreds of examples of traps and failures and range breakout pullbacks. I teach all this in a lot more detail in our free video classes. I'll put a link up there for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link that popped up and take that free video course. The strategy you're going to learn in that video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our morning trade, our members trade room, to know exactly where the best winning trades will be each day. More importantly, though, I'll teach you 4 of my favorite entry patterns: traps, failures, pullback combinations, to help you time the perfect entry and start making money on your own. The markets are way too good right now not to be making money every day. If you're missing the best trades, if you're taking too many losses, hit that link, take that free course. It's perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. And also, too, keep in mind, too, I'm going to keep all the important links we talk about tonight in the description of the YouTube video, the free class links. We get together, we trade together every morning in our members trade room. I'll put the members trade room links down there as well. And also, too, if you're on Twitter, I post a lot on Twitter, updates throughout the day. Give me a follow. I'll put the Twitter handle down there, the description there as well. All right, so now you know more about what I'm looking for here. And again, remember, the most important thing right now is we know we're bullish, but the strength of that move down, right? The strength of that move down says expect this thing to try to keep going lower here. A little more things here. V bottom reversal. These are not my favorite. They're not my favorite, but they are definitely an option here for tomorrow. We are finally getting that breakout pullback, right? We might not get these bears trapped in, right? We may not get that bear trap. We may not get that double bottom. We may just simply V bottom and boing right back up to retest the high. If we do get a V bottom on this, chances are it will look like this. It'll V bottom and begin to grind. I want to make sure we get through some of these key areas. Again, there's likely will be a lot of bears up there trying to short this thing back down again. If I see this thing begin to grind going higher, first things first, I do not chase this thing going higher. If you're anything like me, right when this thing starts to grind higher, you're going to want to jump in and get long so you don't miss the move back to retest the high. I'm telling you right now, that is a big mistake. The majority of these are going to pull back. Now, what I want you to think about here is I want to measure. I want you to measure the size of that move from that low up to that high, and I want you to think about where the halfway point is. Okay, this is very, very important. Professional traders are always looking to risk small to earn large. Think about where that halfway point is. Think about where that golden ratio, that Fibonacci, right? 62%, 61.8, right? Think about where that level is right there, all right? That is the ideal entry on this because that will give you the risk and the reward is at least balanced. And because we're overall bullish, that is the bare minimum area I want to be trying to get in on. Now, knowing that 50% calculation now draw a trend line off the high. Bring it down off that low and look left. Find some prior swings, and I want you to look for that first test off of that low. Now, I'm not going to go over all the specific entry tactics in this video right now. We'd be here all night, but I do cover all those in a lot more detail, and I slow it way down in our free video courses. But again, it could be a bear trap entry, it could be a pullback entry, a failure pattern entry. The key, though, is, again, I want you to think about, make sure that risk small, earn large, draw a line right down the middle of that, and try to get that pullback at least to that 50% or around that area. That's where professionals are going to be looking, because that's going to give them that easy risk-reward calculation that makes it worthwhile for them to take that trade going long. We call those V-bottom reversals. All right, now, here's the next big question, okay? Because we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We got a pretty good idea how to buy this thing going higher. What if we find ourselves all the way back up off that high? Could I short this thing? We definitely can. We call these big move retests, right? We definitely can short this thing. Next question, what happens if we keep going lower? What if we keep grinding down and grinding down? Do I flip this and go short? Well, let's talk about this, right? Because we got a couple more things to talk about tonight. Let's grab the Nasdaq. Nasdaq feels lonely over here now. Nasdaq recently ripped right through those all-time highs. Boy, what a run this month of January. Nasdaq been melting up, right? Been melting up all week. Seems like all month right now. We're pulling back into those key support zones we talked about earlier on in the video, and of course earlier on in the week. Again, looks like a great spot to be buying a breakout pullback, but the strength of that pullback is the key. Let's now drill down here now to our tick charts. Once again, 4,000 tick chart on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq has a lot less volume than the S&P does. That's why we use a bit smaller tick value. Three big clues on the Nasdaq. Again, it's a bull bias overall, right? Bull bias overall, a sharp correction. Again, bull bias says buy the dip, go back to retest the high. But the sharp correction says what? The sharp correction says expect a pullback, expect bear to try to hold these levels overhead, and they're going to try to retest that low, right? Big, I think that is the most important variable, right, for the game plan for tomorrow. We cannot chase it going higher. We have to look for those bear traps to get in on this breakout pullback. The third clue is similar to the S&P, but you'll notice it's quite different. On the Nasdaq, we don't have that same weekend gap. Right? On the Nasdaq, we don't have that same week. The Nasdaq already closed its gap already quickly after it was formed. On the Nasdaq, though, we have a similar problem, right? A similar scenario, and that is we did have that range on the NQ this morning. If you're watching this morning, the trade room, the amount we go up is oftentimes the amount that we go down. In our free video class, we call these range rotation or pendulum swings off the high, right? Pendulum swings off the high. So just like the S&P has some room to keep going lower, yeah, the Nasdaq does. The Nasdaq does as well, all right? And it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Nasdaq winds up all the way back and kisses that trading range. They love to do that. They love to go all the way back and just get a little smooch right off that trading range and then whoop, right back up for that breakout pullback. So NASDAQ also has the ability to keep on grinding lower. Now, we've already covered most of this on the S&P, right? We're anticipating that pullback and retest that low. So same game plan. Let the bears try once. Let the bears try twice. Get that bear trap getting in. Because what that does is when you buy off a bear trap like that below those lows, what happens is now if they do hold that level and run back lower, you're already making your money. Right, you're already making the green on that trade, even if they do whack it and run back down to retest the low. If they do retest the low, right? If they do retest the low, that double bottom retest is oftentimes even easier. Trap those bears in, the rookie bears, use those stops to fuel, and then where does the market want to go? It wants to go right back up and take out that high, and it wants to go back and take out that big high. What's my problem? My problem is I don't want to buy high. What's my solution? Always, I want to buy as low as I can. I'm going to buy with those bear traps on the way higher. Take some profit off at this level here. Profit off, of course, back up to retest the high. Again, the same basic idea we talked about on the S&P. If we keep going lower, nothing changes. All right? Nothing changes. I don't want to sell as we go lower. Why? Because we know this. Where do you sell? You sell high, right? You don't sell low. So if it goes lower, I'm not going to flip this or anything, right? We're still, look at this 60-minute chart. Do not lose sight of this, okay? Do not lose sight of this. Do not forget about this insane big move going higher. If it pulls back deeper, it's just a better spot to be a buyer. It is. So you got to be very careful, right? You got to be very careful here. If we go lower, and again, there's no reason why this thing can't go lower. If we go lower, it now becomes even more important that we execute that same game plan. 1 try for the bears, 2 try for the bears, higher high in price, and what do we always say in our trade room? Traps, baby, right? Traps, baby. We grab that trap, and again, you'll learn all the entry rules to this stuff in the video course. In this scenario, it's pretty easy, right? Now we know where the market wants to go. It's going to want to take out these levels, right? Because again, the bears are going to try. They may not be successful, but they will try to hold that and run back down again. That's we want to take some good profit off there. And then if it pushes through, right, it's easy, right? Hold back up to retest the high. If we really shoot lower, all right, if they really shoot lower here overnight, expect that pullback, that retest of that low. It's what the markets do. Anytime we see a strong move down like that, I don't care how bullish the market is, it almost always pulls back and tries to retest that low. Once they do, remember who's trading this. Okay, put yourself in the shoes of the other traders in the market. There are sellers who got short up here. Where are they going to take their profit? They're taking their profit at that low. In our trade room, we say this is an area where everyone is a buyer. Everyone's a buyer. Why do I say that? Why do I say everyone is a buyer right there? Well, because buyers know this is a long-term bull market. So buyers are going to be buying that double bottom. Buyers are buying there. But think about it. Anybody who sold short on that pullback, they're taking their profit down here. The only way you take profit in a short trade is to buy your way out. The buyers are buyers and the sellers are buyers. Everyone is a buyer down there. Now bring in the rookies, right? The rookies come in, they chase after it. I know this because I did this so many times when I was a new trader, right? I would see the move going lower and I'd say, shoot, this is a reversal. I better short this thing. Sure enough, right? I'm way too late. I should have been shorting right up here, but instead, like most rookies, I chase after the move because I wasn't confident in my setups. I know this from experience. I can feel your pain. 1 try, 2 try, and my first mentor would always say, Joe, think about where your stop would be, right? Think about where you want to throw that keyboard across the room. I don't do that anymore, by the way, right? I've gotten over that. I'm kidding with you. But try to trap in those bears, right? And squeeze those stops here. Horrible place to be a seller. This is not a bear market. It's an overall bull market. It's a deep pullback. It's a big correction. Once those bears get squeezed, now remember, very, very important. If you miss the entry here, do not shoot yourself in the foot by chasing after it going higher. All right. Hopefully by now you've learned that if you miss a good trade, be very, very keen to the fact that your brain is going to sabotage you. It's going to try to chase it. That little voice in our head will say, "Come on, dummy, you missed it. Get in, right?" Stop yourself from getting long up there and wait for that bear trap. Okay, this is what the smart money we're waiting for. They're going to wait for that bear trap to get in nice and low. All right, so don't be chasing it as you're going higher. And what I would do when I was a rookie was I would chase it going higher, and I would say, okay, small stop, small risk, and sure enough, it would stop me out right there and then rip my head off and run higher. And of course, I'd be sitting there with a missed trade down here and a stupid entry up here, right? So don't chase it. Get those higher highs, buy that bear trap, take some profit off at these levels overhead. Again, think about those areas of resistance that you will be seeing bears come in and sort of whack it back down again, leave that final target back up to retest the high. All right, so same basic game plan we talked about on the S&P, including that V bottom, right? That pop up and that grind, including that V bottom. Remember, the most important thing on a V bottom is to let those bears short this thing, right? Let them come in and short that sucker. Let them try, right? And then once it begins to rebound, bam, right? We get the stops getting run. That's those V bottoms work so well. And again, I wanted to think about drawing that square, right? That rectangle or whatever, right? Measure that distance. Think about where that 50% is, right? Get halfway down that level. That will keep your risk and reward balanced. It's an easy cheat sheet you'll use to figure out where the best entry will be below those prior swings. All right. Final question. Can I short that top? right? Can I short that top? Absolutely I can, but I got to do it safely. A crown reversal off of that high. Now, if you've learned one thing from me, you know that there are a lot of I made a lot of rookie mistakes when I was a trader. If we can trap those bears in, right? Trap those bears in and squeeze back up. What will happen is there will be some rookies that will not get the entry here, right? And they'll chase it after it goes higher. What they'll do is they'll buy right into that high once, twice. I want to see that lower low in price. Why lower lows? Because buyers want to buy low. Remember, if I'm going to short this thing off the high, it's an overall bull market. It's a great location for a short, but horrible momentum for a short. If I don't have momentum on my side, for example, if I buy down here, I have that overall momentum at my back. The wind is at my back. It's easier to get lucky when you're going with that long-term 60-minute trend. Up at the highs here, though, I don't have momentum at my back, right? It's not helping me. So I need to trap the buyers in and use their stops to fuel that move back down again. I don't have momentum to help that thing roll over. So as we go back up to retest the high, momentum is a big, big problem. And therefore, if we start seeing buyers once, if we start seeing buyers twice, that lower low in price to trap in, right? Rope in. Give me some buyers. Give me some more buyers. Okay, now the buyers are all in. Now, let's grab that big bull trap off that high, that nice strong red signal candle we talk about in the free video course, and look for that dump off of that high. Now, the reason why you need a bull trap up there, okay, you have to get that bull trap is because we're in an overall bull market. It may not drop all the way back down again, right? It may end up coming halfway back and ripping back higher again. Because again, we're an overall bull market. That's why I have to make sure I get that crown reversal, right? That bull trap to short off the high, that lower low in price and that bull trap above the high. I have to be well in the green by the time we get back down to key support levels down below, all right? And if this thing pops up, if it pops up and begins to grind and grind and grind. Okay, remember, if there's one thing about trading, when it grinds like that, do not fight it, right? When it grinds like that, when it pops up, so grinding, do not fight those grinders. Go out, grab that trend line off that high, bring it off that low, and then again, look left, find those prior swings, strong move in one direction. Expect what? A two-legged pullback. Remember, a bit more than a measured move. We talk about those mostly all week on these videos. And again, we'll look for that pullback, get that first test off the low of that channel, and then snap that sucker back up to retest those highs. All right, guys? A little bit more advanced game plan for tonight. I tried to keep things as simple as I could. Remember, the most important thing right now is that sharp, strong move lower. It will try to retest. So make sure you're buying as low as you can, which means bear traps, and bear traps. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited for tomorrow's trading session. The best place to be tomorrow is with us in the morning trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time every morning. I can't think of any better way to learn to trade than to do it with us every morning at the opening bell. I'll put all the important links once again, the free class links, the trade room membership links, my Twitter feed, all the good stuff, the description of the YouTube video. Questions, any issues, are you getting error messages on the free video classes? Please don't be a stranger. If you need help or you got questions, call us, email, use live chat. We're always here to help out if you need help along the way. All right, guys, a fantastic week so far. Let's go make some more money tomorrow on this breakout pullback. Remember, time that entry properly. Don't force it. Absorb that momentum and use those stops to fuel your profit targets. Hope you learned a bunch tonight. Hope you use this knowledge to make a killing tomorrow. And hopefully I'll see you sometime soon. Trade along with us in the morning trade room. As always, my name is Joseph. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Get out of here. Enjoy your evening. Be well. Be nice to each other out there. And you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.